Astrology and Food, produced and directed by Reverend Dr. Dikki-Jo. In this video, Dr. Mullen will discuss the 7 sacred cereals and heavenly lights associated with the sun and the moon. Now we will hear Dr. Mullen's lecture.
This is Dikki-Jo in Orlando, Florida, astrologer, paranormal investigator, with a special program about astrology and food, a popular topic, the 7 sacred cereals and the heavenly lights of the sun and the moon. The luminaries, the sun and the moon, and the visible planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Those are the planets that have been used since ancient times because we don't need a telescope to know they're out there, are the signposts of sympathetic magic and astrology. The spiritual applications of the planets can be used for many things, the most popular of which might be to enhance overall wellness. This is addressed in the esoteric astrology of theosophical and other mystery school teachings and the Bible. Let's begin with a glance at the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel 4, verse 9, gives us a recipe which is thought to enhance honest nutrition and offer pure, delicious flavors and enhance life. It's Ezekiel bread, and it's for sale, or you can bake your own. Here is the gist of the writing about baking with sacred grains in order to make this special bread. Ezekiel bread is, again, widely available. It's thought by many to have healing powers when included in the diet. The verse reads, "Take also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and spelt, and put them in one vessel," meaning mix them together to make the bread. The magical influence of sacred grains is also mentioned in The Golden Bough by Sir James Frazer. The spirits of the grains are personified in different ways, that is, they're dedicated to animals and deities. Grains are honored and sacrificed in many ways. They promise the renewal of life, the staff of life. Cereal grains are members of the grass family of plants. Wheat, rye, oats, barley, corn, rice, and millet are the 7 grains that compose the messages about life given to us by the sun and the moon and the visible planets, those out as far as Saturn. Wheat relates to Venus. It's the grain most associated with England and the Mediterranean cultures. It is the wheat mother or wheat bride tradition, and mythologies about dogs, cows, and wolf entities will often refer to wheat. This is a type of ancient grain and ancient wheat called kamut, K-A-M-U-T, as an example. This is one that I've been using in some sacred healing cooking to overcome a health challenge that I've been facing recently. Has it worked or not? Well, we'll have to check with my circle of acquaintances and see. But it certainly has made me feel better to be working with the spiritual qualities of that ancient form of wheat. Rye is the main grain of Russia and Germany. My own background comes from Western Europe and the British Isles, which is why I think I responded especially to the kamut or the ancient wheat grain. If your background is in Russia or Germany, or you relate to those cultures, rye may be the better choice, or you can use a combination of grains. Ruled by Saturn, the planet of survival and time, rye is linked with the crone, the wise old woman archetypes. Think of Baba Yaga in the Russian mythology. The rye mother also appears with goats or sows. Oat is the cultivated grain in most northernly European countries. It's also the national dish of Scotland. served cooked as oatmeal cereal, as well as in oat cakes, breads, or cookies. It's symbolized by the oat bride, the oat mother, a horse spirit. Oat is ruled by Mercury. Barley, sweet and sugary, is sacred to the Eastern European cultures. Barley is ruled by the planet Jupiter. Used in making beer, it's symbolized by the jolly barley maid and various Jovian figures in mythology. Corn, or maize, is the grain most associated with the corn goddess figures of the Native Americans. Corn is related to the sun and celebrated by solar deities. Corn has been especially modified by hybridization, showing its dramatic qualities, versatility, and colorful growth. It often appears in ceremonial usage. Rice, of course, is the staple food of the damp tropics and Southeast Asia. Rice is related to the moon. The white grain figures in wedding ceremonies of the bride and groom, as well as the rice mother and child in Eastern traditions, come to us. Often throughout the world, newly wedded couples exit after their ceremony of commitment being tossed with handfuls of rice as a blessing to assure fertility and a lucky marriage. Millet is a cereal grain farmed as a staple in Central Europe, especially in Italy and southern Germany, as well as parts of Asia. In Japan, there's a god of millet in the Ainu mystical tradition, linking this staple to the planet Mars. Millet is a warm season grass used by hunters to attract game animals. Theosophical teachings relate each plant and cereal grain to a group soul with mystical implications. The plants are alive, just as human beings are, and affect humanity as well as the animal kingdom. Let's look at some specific plants that go with the 12 signs of the zodiac. The seasons of the year are reflected in the Earth's annual journey around the sun. Traced by the 12 familiar zodiac signs, the celestial pattern from beginning to end has been illustrated at least since medieval times by looking at zodiacal correlations with the different parts of the body. In the astrology of health, the body of the head relates to Aries, the first zodiac sign, going through the 12 signs until we get to the feet, Pisces, the final sign, ruled in turn by the heavenly mythology. Among the earliest astrological texts, specific plants can be related to the treatment of maladies and linked to the zodiac signs. Having a ruling plant growing in your garden or home can do a lot to create a healing atmosphere, and then also preparing it as food. Maintaining the astrology of health, rooted in human development. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything else. Health is everything. Aries the ram, fiery and bright, is the pioneer's sign. Primitive lichens, which set the foundation for the establishment of other plant species, are seen as the botanical pioneers. Seaweed and other water plants, which first emerged from the oceans as the origin of life, would appear here. Aries rules the head and brain. Taurus, the bull, is the first of the three earth signs of the zodiac. It signifies the cradle of the nurturing surface from which sprouts fungi, mushrooms, root or underground crops such as carrots, radishes, and truffles. Taurus rules the neck and throat. Gemini the Twins, the first of the air signs, is mercurial and points to air plants such as Spanish moss, which thrive in the trees above the ground. Gemini would rule the shoulder, has hands, and arms. Cancer, the crab, the moon child. The moon ruled first of the three water signs, rules ferns, mosses, cattails, which are edible, and sprouts, also edible, which germinate in water. You could include hydroponics here, a very popular way of growing fruits and vegetables. Cancer rules the breast and stomach. Leo, the lion, relates to cones, flame-shaped, different things ruled by fire and the sun. This includes pines, syads, ferns, and nuts, pine nuts, and related different types of grains such as walnuts, and also sunflower seeds. Virgo, the virgin, is earthy, and it's the second of the earth signs, relates to the goddess Aries, and to cereal grains and grasses overall. Virgo rules the upper digestive tract and nervous disorders. Libra, the scales, relates to Venus, beautiful flowering plants which have their own spiritual aura, and lilies, irises, orchids are here. Kidneys and the lower back are ruled by Libra. Scorpio, the scorpion, is Mars and Pluto ruled. Mars and Pluto ruled, and the palm trees and arrow-shaped vines and philodendrons relate strongly to Scorpio. The elimination and the reproductive systems are the body parts. Sagittarius, the centaur, is the liver, and the planet Jupiter, the thighs, great forests, ancient and massive trees, oats overall, acorns are edible. These are your plant affinities. Capricorn, the goat, is tied to Sirius Saturn. Plants with separate petals, twisted and dwarfed bonsais, threatened species or fragile plants, miniature plants would be the affinity with Capricorn, which rules the bones and the knees. Aquarius, the water bearer, linked with eccentric Uranus. Plants with united petals, greenery springing unexpectedly from the snow or from dead or damaged land, such as burned out areas, would be the plant affinities. Aquarius rules the ankles, lower legs, and the circulatory system. Finally, Pisces. The fish links with Neptune. Think of algae, spores, lotus or water lilies, other plants that emerge from the depths of the mud through the water would be the species of plants that go with Pisces, ruling the feet in conclusion.